Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Locker Room Talk. My name is David Carter.
And I'm Reggie Walker.
And this episode is brought to you by Strategic Advisor Board and the Game Within the Game.
The Game Within the Game is a college accredited course developed by us for student athletes and their parents to understand the inner workings of what it takes to survive in a collegiate sports environment during and after the process. And today's episode, what we're going to be talking about today is maintaining composure.
And maintaining composure can save your life in the game. And it's one of the things that you learn going through. And one of the ways I learned it was one and done. You miss a tackle or you miss a block and you just think the world is over. Like, oh man, the coach is going to chew me out. You know, the player's over, whatever, looking like, man, he whiffed that, whatever. You have to be able to gather yourself and take note of where you are, what your job is, and what you got to do, and move on to the next step and get it done. Because you got to keep playing. You may have lost that battle, but you have a whole war ahead of you.
Well, the thing is too, when you're looking at it, is the fact that when you go from the higher you go up, the better everyone else around you is going to be. So when it comes down to things, when you're in high school, you could get by doing a lot of stuff and you're winning more times than you're not.
Right.
But when you go to this next level, man, things start evening themselves out. And then once you go up to, professional level, then everything is like really even. That means you're going to be losing a lot.
Yeah,
and you have to be
learn
able
how to lose.
And you got to learn how to lose. You got to be able to learn from the losing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, just like we were talking about with thinking in the gray, that when you start losing your composure, one of the things that you start doing is you start getting into the black and white thinking. Oh, I suck, I'm bad, I'm horrible, I'm terrible, I can't do anything. Or you can even say maintaining your composure is having that overinflated ego, like I'm amazing, I can't be touched, everything is great, everything is blah, 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 which in both of those mentalities can be great too, to a degree, because everything has a positive and negative. You can learn from everything. For instance, being in that overinflated self, as a football player, like you need confidence. You need to be confident.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're too confident, you don't learn. You stop learning. I'm
hear.
perfect. I'm perfect. I can't be touched. But if you're super negative, you're always going to be like, man, I'm bad. You're looking at the bad.
Right. So you need to walk that fine line.
The fine line.
To where you're like, I'm confident enough. I'm confident I can go out here and I can get the job done. But I understand that I need to be open to coaching. I need to be open to direction and be able to pivot, be able to take a step away from the fire, right? And like he was saying, if your ego's too big, you can't see what's going on around you because your ego is blocking your vision.
And also even just being open to the fact that you're not perfect. Right. As an athlete and as a person, you're in this process of you're constantly growing. You're constantly growing. And you have to understand that it's a process, and in this process of constantly growing, you're going to do some good things, you're going to do some bad things. You're not as sweet as you think you are, you're not as bad as you think you are. You just are. And the fact of the matter is, if you want to get to where you're trying to get to, you have to be able to develop yourself from where you're at, both positively and negatively. And when it comes to maintaining your composure, that's key, because just like we said, you get into that black and white thinking, whether you're too up or too down. And that's when mistakes happen.
Right, because you're not focused on your goal and you're thinking, I'm trying to do this, or, oh no, this is happening, instead of actually focusing on your assignment, what your original vision was, and
the challenges that are ahead of you, like right in front of your face.
Exactly.
Because that's the thing about football, or just sports in general. You will get embarrassed out here. Mm-hmm. The people who have the overinflated egos, you can go out there and get embarrassed quick. You're going to sit here and think, oh, I'm the biggest, strongest guy. Dude, so we played Texas Tech, and I was a true freshman. And as a linebacker, you got to lift people out the way. You got to get off blocks, and the people that you're getting off blocks with are a lot bigger than you. But I had an overinflated ego coming into this situation. I didn't hit the weights. I was 220 pounds. But this guy named Taco from Texas Tech had other plans. He was every bit of 6'6", 360 pounds. And in high school, I was running through everybody. But I tried to do the same thing with him. Had the ego, and I was not in reality. I was not in reality. So I run into him. He picks me up off the ground. Literally, he eats my whole hit, everything. Doesn't even take a step back. Picks me up off the ground and shakes me midair. And then on top of that, the running back runs through my gap, so it was my fault. And then on top of that, he sets me down and doesn't even look at me. He just jogs back to the sideline. So that happened in the very beginning of the game, first 5 minutes.
It was like, you child.
So as far as the composure would happen, would be after that, like, oh, I was gone. Like, I was out of there.
Yeah, you lost that one.
I got, no, not just that I lost that one, but he completely, whoa, I wasn't in reality. And it shook me into reality. Now, instead of just I had this overinflated ego, after that, I was just I had this really underinflated ego immediately. He completely deflated me.
Right.
Because I really could have saved myself if I would have understood, hey, dude, come on now.
Right, be realistic.
Be realistic. Where you're at right now. And even if he would have blocked me, if I would have understood, hey, man, he's going to win too. These people are good too.
Right.
That doesn't mean he has to beat me all the time.
Right.
You're going to lose sometimes. It's
Right.
going to happen. But because I came in with the overinflated ego, I did not maintain that equilibrium that is needed as an athlete or as a person, so you can see all perspectives.
Right.
And move on stable ground. I was on unstable ground.
And then, so check this out. So
place.
even to add up even more to what you were talking about. So I played D-line. So for you guys, I don't even had this conversation. I played defensive line. I was a big guy. And still, I was 320 pounds. But still, I'm not going to go. It was my ego. If I were to go up against an opponent and face an offensive lineman who weighs the same, and I would just, go right up and try to fight all 320 pounds of them. But a smart defensive lineman, what you learn is why fight the whole man when you can cut this person in half and fight half of him and fight 160 pounds instead of 320 pounds. Fight one arm instead of both arms, and then it's easier to control. And that's just if I were to go in there with my ego and be like, I don't care, I'm gonna fight this guy head up and try to control his whole body weight. No. Just fight half the guy. And when you learn stuff like that and move your ego to the side and see all right, let's just be real. Let's just give myself the best opportunity to win, to get to that next step. Let's put myself in position to win. And that's what you need to do too. In maintaining your composure, or being calm and not getting all anger and allowing your ego to try to be I need to win. I need to beat this guy. I need to make it embarrassing and personal. Just get the job done. Fight half the man, right? Don't try to go up and head up Taco and he's 360 pounds and you're 220, right? Run around him. What tools can I use to get the job done and get it done right?
Yeah, and when you maintain your composure, you keep yourself open to what's going to help me get from this point to the next point, because you're taking baby steps. I'm thinking about getting from point A to point B, not from A to Z, A to B. And I have to be where I'm at currently, using what I have currently, in the best state of mind possible, seeing everything, looking at it in gray, in order for me to move from point A to point B efficiently, effectively, and on stable ground. So I think that's all we got for this episode. If you like the content, or you want to talk further to us, or even check our course out, please check the link in the description below. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing daily videos, giving you your content needs in different areas for students, athletes, and individuals striving for success. Until then, peace.
Peace.